We do realize that SMEs are the backbone to any serious economy. If you look at even big economies like Germany, a majority of their companies are actually SMEs.
The SME is a huge engine for growth, and in Kenya they employ about 84% of the workforce.
The business of a retail sector is to sell manufactured products. Then look at the transport and the logistics sector. They move these products from point A to point B where they're needed. Now, if you look at that effect alone, jobs are created, and of course, the sectors are now getting defined.
Within this context, the SMEs are a big priority for the Association of Manufacturers. We're really trying to see how do we bring more SMEs into manufacturing? How do we assist them to deal with the complexities that exist in the business environment?
Currently in Kenya, of course, with the interest rate capping, what did the banks do? The banks removed access to finance. Now, this access to finance has actually hit the SME sector first.
Most banks are actually not lending to SMEs because of the current interest rate cap. They appear to be risky in terms of credit.
Even when they did used to get the financing, it was also pretty expensive, which also does not help the plight of the SME.
The problem is caused by two issues. First of all, you find an SME is not bankable and it's looking for funding. It won't get the funding. Secondly, here is a bank that is ready to fund you, but because of the existing conditions, for example, the loan capping situation, the loan becomes very expensive and very restrictive.
One of the biggest constraints we've seen through our engagement with the SMEs in manufacturing has been value chain maximization. There's a lot of challenge in accessing raw materials, for instance, consistently.
Which materials are the ideal ones? How do I source my materials wisely? Or even get to know other people in the same industry, and we can source together.
Another challenge we've seen, of course, is regulatory compliance. A lot of SMEs are not able to meet the customer demands on various areas, and even the national regulations around various certifications that are required.
In Kenya, majority of the SMEs are actually within the Juakali sector, which is the informal sector, where they actually do exactly what we do. They manufacture, they provide services, but what tends to happen is this sector does not formalize.
7.4 million SMEs exist. Only 1.6 of them are registered.
Every year, you have to go to Kenya Bureau of Standards to get certification for that same product which you had. Of course, it's a good intention, but then the cost is prohibitive. So you find some manufacturers shy away from that and take shortcuts. And hence, you end up with, low quality products.
The SME policies that the government has in place, and so many organizations, I cannot say clearly why they've not had that impact, whether it's the SMEs or is the way we're rolling them out. There's a gap.
I've seen very many numerous national strategies, export strategy. We need to move from strategy, from paper, to implementation, and I think that's where the challenge is missing, because in those strategies we have articulated clearly what infrastructure is needed, what policy is needed, what incentives are needed to drive SMEs.
The failure of the retail sector lately has also affected the SME sector, because a lot of them, I would want to argue, over 50% of the SME sector used to supply the retail sector, and with that collapse or constraint, again, the SME sector is very, very constrained.
We have the scenario where the retail sector has had challenges and has not been able to pay a number of businesses, and the businesses who have really taken a beating are the SMEs, and we've even seen some of them shut down because of this. The county governments are also another area, because SMEs are giving services to county governments and delivering their goods, but their payments sometimes even take over 1 year, 2 years. Some people are even owed money for 3 years.
For an SME to thrive, they need a market. So identifying the market and making sure they're complying to the needs of that market, whether it's through product innovation or distribution networks, is a big area that we've seen.
The main SME challenges that KAM seeks to address are product development, This focuses on supporting quality product development, proper pricing, competitive differentiation, right packaging, branding and labeling.
SMEs are riddled with inefficiencies right through the value chain. And if we could go reducing those, that would be a huge opportunity that the SME would be able to get.
As a response, we've come up with different capacity building programs that help them, of course, to be able to maximize on the value chain, one of which is skills development. We have mentorship and peer networking opportunities to still build their capacity, energy efficiency that we do, and the Kaizen processes.
Many times you start a business and you do need to know a lot. In a certain industry, let's say you went into shoemaking, unless you're professionally trained.
You can manufacture, but you may not have the skills to run that business. How will somebody have that confidence in you?
We are quite clear that as a country, for us to be able to grow our manufacturing sector, we need to have productive employees and we need to be able to have the right skills within industry. So we are really looking at how we grow skills, and currently we are running a TVET program that we started this year that is linking graduates from the technical training institutes to the industry in a bid to reduce the gap between what we learn and what actually happens in industry.
A number of our technical staff have also been trained through programs that have been organized by KAM, like technical staff, like the operators of such equipment as the boilers, and then quality assurance staff.
So far, over 300 have been placed in various internship opportunities, and most of these people are in the skills of welding, plumbing, carpentry, electricals, and operations maintenance. So we've been able to place them, and a lot of industries are quite impressed with them. We have over 60 who, after the internship, have gotten full-time job. And having done this in only 8 months is quite a success.
We've launched the Manufacturing Academy calendar for 2018, and it's really an array of trainings all the way from technical trainings, SME trainings, energy trainings, management level trainings that will really help the manufacturing sector scale up.
We are trying to do a model that has been very successful in Asia to grow the SME, which is called subcontracting.
Where we see the bigger companies giving subcontracting contracts to SMEs to manufacture some of the products that they require for their processes.
Having a new company policy that allows an SME to be a sole proprietor and be a limited company. Remember, that was so inhibiting. For anything bigger to happen to you, you had to be a limited company. And to convince anybody to join you as a small business is a challenge. So those kind of things have happened.
If you look at the ease of doing business indicators, every time Kenya is making steps towards improving on the ease of doing business and in terms of its global competitiveness, those are factors that are contributed by organizations such as KAM.
We have a business development plan that really is a strategy document that determines the direction the association is going. Within that document, we want to see the manufacturing sector's contribution in 3 years increase to 15% of the GDP. We are currently at 9.2%. This is a very ambitious target, but a target we believe we can attain.
We have mapped out areas that are constraining SMEs in terms of policy advocacy. So we are looking to advocate for sound and predictable policy environment for our SMEs.
KAM has shaped very many manufacturers. It has taken them from almost from level 0 to very high level.
It actually actively goes out and encourages their SMEs to come out and benefit from the different programs that they have, as well as putting them in contact with other networks that benefit the SME.
We are not able to sustain our food requirements in this country. That can easily be sorted out. We have a lot of it when we harvest. We have good rains like now. How do we turn that round?
Growing the manufacturing sector to 15% of the GDP, which rests around how competitive we are, both as an economy and at farm level. The second one is on how we improve the skills within the industry and improve productivity, so pushing for a skills-based job creation agenda. And thirdly, growing our local, regional and international markets with value-added products so that we can really make Kenya the manufacturing hub for Africa.
KAM is generally on a very good trajectory. They do advocate for the manufacturers, the plight of the manufacturers. where we advocate to get a good regulatory and legal environment. We shall continue, of course, to do that, because that is what our mandate is.
Any SME for me that has survived beyond 3 years has a future. They must be dynamic. They must embrace new technology, new products, new services that keep coming up.
If you do not concentrate on manufacturing, then you're going to drive a very, very huge trade deficit.
Right now we have created a think tank that is actually looking into the future, and we shall be knocking on the doors of, the government and perhaps our partners to help drive the future of industries, not only just in the current, but also in the near future.